Hello, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm making a Deadpool fridge magnet out of polymer clay. So I have all my supplies ready, and I have a reference picture of the Deadpool mask from the movie that I'd like to use for my magnet. And then I have my magnet, my glue. So to start off, I'll go ahead and get out 2 pearl beads, and then I will go ahead and condition my red clay. My art room's in the basement, and it's winter right now, so the clay is a lot firmer than it normally is. So it takes a little bit more to condition it than normal, but if you work with it for a while, it'll still get pretty soft and, a lot more manageable. Now that I have my red clay conditioned, I'll go ahead and shape out Deadpool's head. So it's just an oval shape or an egg shape, with it being a little bit narrow on one end for his jaw. And then once I have the shape how I want it, I'll go ahead and do indentions for the pearl beads. And these will be Deadpool's eyes. And then I'll go ahead and indent it a little bit around those for the black that's around his eyes. Now the pearl beads are used for like bracelets, necklaces, or whatever, so they have holes on each end. So when you insert those in, you just need to make sure that those holes are not shown. These holes are a little bit, the indentions in Deadpool's head mask is a little bit deeper than some of the characters I've done, so it's pretty easy to cover those up. And the last thing I'm doing is adding a nose. You can't really see much of Deadpool's features through his mask, but his nose does kind of stand out a little bit. So I went ahead and added that. Then I'm using some fabric or some material to add some texture to his mask. Now this is one of those scrunchies you use like in the shower. I don't, but that's what the section they're sold at, but they work great for adding texture to polymer clay. And I went ahead and cut it up because the red dye transfers a lot, and I didn't want it to transfer to the next piece I wanted to add texture to, so I just cut a piece out to use for this one, and then I'll throw it away. There's quite a bit in there, so it's not wasting too much. Now I'm conditioning the black clay to do for the areas around the eyes, so I'll go ahead and press that out, and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife in the rough shape that area is, and then I'll put it up against the mask, see how close I am with it. It needed trimmed off a little bit, so I'll go ahead and make those adjustments and then cut an opening for his eye on that side. And now that the opening's done, I'll just kind of adjust it a little bit with the needle tool, smooth it out so it has a better look to it, and then place it on the pearl bead or over the pearl bead area. So the thing with Deadpool, and also like Spider-Man, is his eyes are very dynamic in, like animation, movies, and comics, because, those characters can't express a lot of emotion since their face is covered, so the artist will often use the eyes to express more emotions. So even though it's not realistic, it works very well for those characters. And so I kind of wanted to represent that when doing this, is, making the eyes just a little bit different and kind of showing that in this magnet. The last thing I want to add to this little sculpture is the stitch work. So I went around both black areas around the eyes and added indentions to represent the stitching. And then from those black areas went straight down and then straight up over the mask. And I feel like, Deadpool's mask is pretty simple. So to add these little details like that really help, pull it all together and make it look like a complete piece. And then one final touch, because I've been handling it, I went ahead and went back over it with the fabric I was using to texture it. It's not a very thick fabric, and so the texture is, really close to the surface. It doesn't go in very deep. So any light touching or anything will cause that to kind of smooth off a bit. And even on the finished piece, it doesn't stand out a lot. But I think it adds to it enough to make it worth the time. So alright, he's ready to be baked. Now it's time to bake our clay. Remember, always bake your clay according to package instructions. The last thing I need to do to make this magnet a magnet is glue on the magnet. So I'm going to use some Loctite super glue gel, put a little bit in the center there, attach the magnet, hold it in place for a few seconds, and then once it's dry, it'll be ready to go on the fridge. Here's the finished Deadpool magnet. If you have any questions about this project or have ideas for future videos, please leave them in the comments down below. Well, thank you so much for watching, and remember, never stop creating. Bye! You can purchase items with my mascot on it from my TeePublic Store. And you can purchase my one-eyed blobs from my Etsy shop. Links to my TeePublic Store, my Etsy shop, my Facebook page, and my Instagram page are in the description box below.